talk about 44th Amendment Act 1978 and Article 352. Maybe as a second question, we can also talk about, is there any possibility of national emergency in future? Can national emergency be imposed? That is the question in future, or is it easy? So, can Prime Minister Modi, we are always talking about the a bit of autocratic or non-democratic behavior of this government. Every now and then we are hearing it. It is true, there is no doubt regarding that. Is it possible, or is it easy, or will he also be able to repeat what Indira Gandhi has done at that time? That is the question I will be talking. So, let us see the 44th Amendment Act and what happened to Article 352. So, that is the discussion right now. So, then I will be talking about what will happen, can it be imposed, is it that easy? Okay. So, because L.K. Advani a couple of years before, because in 2017, see 1977 national emergency was withdrawn. So, in 2017, so 87, 97, so 40 years of withdrawal of national emergency. At that time, L.K. Advani, the former Deputy Prime Minister of India and the patriarch of BJP, of course, he is sidelined right now. He said he was also in jail at that time. So, he was telling that the dangers of national emergency is not yet over in India. When he said like that, immediately people started linking with the present Prime Minister and all. So, is there a possibility of imposing national emergency in future? I will be discussing it separately. Or is there a possibility of misusing national emergency provision, Article 352 provision, that I will be discussing separately. So, let me see. So, this 44th Amendment Act of 1978, and it came into force in 1979 onwards. So, many changes were made. Okay. A series of changes were made in article, a series of changes in Article 352 was made. First of all, I said national emergency can be imposed for war, external aggression, or earlier it was internal disturbance, now it is armed rebellion. Okay. So, now let me put one heading as earlier, now after 44th Amendment Act. Okay, this is the distinction I would like to make. First of all, we can say earlier it was, what is mentioned was internal disturbance, internal disturbance. Now it is armed rebellion. Armed rebellion. So, it is not internal disturbance anymore, it is armed rebellion. So, national emergency can be imposed for war, external aggression, or internal or armed rebellion. Earlier it was internal disturbance. So, it has been changed. So, the reason for Indira Gandhi imposing national emergency in 1975 has been taken out. Now, there should be an armed rebellion, then only national emergency can be done. So, second point, earlier even an oral advice by Council of Ministers, even an oral advice by Council of Ministers were sufficient. Now, it is a written, no oral advice, now it is a written advice by the cabinet. Now, a written advice by the cabinet. I already said the word cabinet for the first time came into, or rather it has been introduced into the Indian Constitution through 44th Amendment Act, and that too in Article 352. So, it has to be a written, no oral advice by the Prime Minister, it has to be written advice. Okay. So, earlier national emergency could be in force till it is withdrawn by President. Okay. It could be in force till it is withdrawn by the President of India, but now it can be there only for 6 months at a time. Now, only for 6 months at a time. So, before 44th Amendment Act, once it is imposed, it has to be it can, once it is imposed, it will continue till it is withdrawn by the President. Now, it is for only for 6 months, and that too after it is approved. Now, earlier, a fourth point is, earlier Parliament should approve within 2 months. Parliament should approve in 2 months. Now, within 1 month. Parliament should approve within 1 month. Parliament should approve within 2 months earlier. Now, it has to be approved in 1 month. Then earlier, Parliament should approve with a simple majority. Parliament should approve with a simple majority, now with a special majority. I have already talked. The majority is similar to Article 368, and that means absolute majority plus 2/3 of the members present and vote. It should be approved by both the House of the Parliament within that 1 month period, and it is approved only for 6 months. So, no such provisions were there earlier. Earlier, no mention about, now only Rajya Sabha, if Lok Sabha is dissolved, no such provision. If the Lok Sabha is dissolved, no provision for Rajya Sabha approving. No provision for Rajya Sabha alone approving. Now, Rajya Sabha should approve separately, or rather Rajya Sabha alone can approve. Okay. So, Rajya Sabha alone can approve, and of course, there is a special majority. And then a seventh point is, no mechanism for Parliament to withdraw national emergency. No mechanism for Parliament to withdraw national emergency. Only President of India can withdraw. There is no mechanism. It can be imposed, but there is no mechanism, and Parliament's permission is required. The Parliament should approve within 2 months, and that is simple majority. But there is no mention about withdrawal. But now, Parliament, the Lok Sabha has a special power. Now, the Lok Sabha can pass a resolution with simple majority. Can pass a resolution with simple majority. Lok Sabha can pass a resolution with simple majority, and the national emergency can be withdrawn any time. National emergency can be withdrawn any time. As far as the 8th point, as far as the fundamental rights are concerned, according to Article 358, Article 19 is automatically suspended. Article 19 automatically suspended for all 3 emergencies. All 3 reasons: war, external aggression, or internal disturbance. For all 3, that means war, external aggression, or internal disturbance. Now, Article 19 is automatically suspended only for war and external aggression. Now, only for war and external aggression. Now, only for war and external aggression, Article 19 is automatically suspended only for war and external aggression, not for all the 3, not for internal disturbance or internal armed rebellion right now. Then, Article 359 President of India through a separate proclamation can withdraw or rather can suspend all fundamental rights under Article, all other fundamental rights can be suspended by the President. All other fundamental rights can be suspended by the President. But now 20 and 21 cannot be suspended after 44th Amendment Act. Now 20 and 21 cannot be suspended. Article 20 and 21 cannot be suspended. So 19 can be automatically suspended for war, and now only for war and external aggression, and this 20 and 21 cannot be suspended. So definitely these provisions, so these are some of these provisions added through the 44th Amendment Act, and most importantly it has to be approved within 1 month, special majority in both the houses separately. If Lok Sabha passes, and please note, now special majority by both houses separately. Now special majority by both the houses separately. Now if Lok Sabha passes and Rajya Sabha rejects, national emergency is over. That day national emergency will be withdrawn. Automatically it will be withdrawn if Rajya Sabha failed to pass it. So these provisions of 44th Amendment Act made the chances of misuse of Article 352 almost negligible. See, that means now what is the scenario? Now the present scenario. The present scenario is the ruling party. See, ruling party is able to manage, they are able to manage majority in Rajya Sabha with great difficulty. See, the ruling party, the BJP has around 100, and NDA has around 100 MPs, that's all. The 245 members in the Rajya Sabha, we are talking about 123 as half. Absolute majority is 123, and if you are talking about 2/3 majority in the parliament, we are talking about around 162, 2/3 majority, 162, 163, 163 members. So right now the ruling NDA has around 100, and they are able to manage with the help of parties like Biju Janata Dal, sometimes that YSR Congress, sometimes AIADMK. So these are all the fringe parties, they may support depending upon their personal interest. So that is why the ruling party is able to pass many of these ordinary bills, even the farm bill and all. Had there been a proper voting, I don't think it was that easy for the ruling party to pass the farm bill that easily. So 3 bills related to the farm mandis and corporate farming and everything. It is not that easy for them to pass it. Why? Because the ruling party NDA has no majority in the Rajya Sabha, but they can manage, they can, most of the cases, especially with the help of these Biju Janata Dal, then YSR Congress, and then as I told you AIADMK from Tamil Nadu. So they have enough MPs and they are supporting, and then the nominated members all put together, they are barely managing to scrape through. That is the situation as far as the Rajya Sabha is concerned, the present situation of the Rajya Sabha. And in future, it is not that easy for the ruling party to to get the 2/3 majority and all. See, a national emergency can be imposed only when there is 2/3 majority in both the houses of the parliament. See, Prime Minister Modi may be able to get almost 2/3 majority with some hook or crook in the Lok Sabha, but when it comes to Rajya Sabha, it is not that easy. So as long as, and when it comes to national emergency and all, it will be not that easy to convince the regional parties also that easily. So the chance of misuse of national emergency is not that it is not that bright right now because of the 44th Amendment Act and because of the party majority, the kind of majority which is enjoyed. The opposition has some presence even today, even though in many states, see, I mean, if you look at the electoral in the state elections, many state governments, the BJP and the ruling party managed to capture. Karnataka through Operation Lotus and the JDS Congress government has been toppled because BJP did not have a majority there. Madhya Pradesh, definitely Congress had a majority, then Madhavara Scindia and all they have walked out of the party and then BJP captured power. Goa was another example, Manipur is another example. There are many states like that where the ruling party managed to capture power from the opposition through their sheer muscle power and money power. So they are, and then in Gujarat for example, the ruling party in the last election, they got only out of 181 seats, BJP got only 99 seats, just bare majority, just managed to have the majority. Congress had 82 seats. But then, through defection, Congress lost many MLAs now, Congress is only in 60s. So these kind of things are going on even then. The Rajya Sabha election, when it comes, it's not that all the seats will automatically go to the ruling party, it is not happening like that. So opposition still has, see, Trinamool Congress MPs are there, then, when the elections happen in Tamil Nadu next time, definitely AIDMK will lose, no doubt regarding that, and the DMK will come, that is an ally of the Congress. So there will be enough seats for the opposition to prevent that two-third majority to happen. So because of that lack of two-third majority, national emergency cannot be imposed that easily, and that is why the chance of this government imposing national emergency, or misusing national emergency is not that bright. But they know how to manage otherwise. You see, they are managing the judiciary, they are managing the press. You see, the farmers' agitation is going on across the country. Hardly any national newspaper or national TV channels are reporting that. It is not even, it has been suppressed. Corona again, the kind of spread suddenly after reaching 90,000 plus, the number of cases are declining now, unexplained. Why it is declining, nobody knows. But the government knows. So I am not saying anything because we don't have any data to prove or disprove about it. But so many unexplained things are going on in our country because of the management. This is the media management, the management of the data, management of the judiciary. So they are doing what they want to do even without emergency. No need to impose national emergency for Prime Minister Modi to do what he wants to do, because he is able to manage all the institutions, CAG, Election Commission, everywhere, the way the appointments are being done, the way they are behaving, the way they are giving orders, Supreme Court orders, you can see that right now. So, it is as good as, it is what you can achieve through national emergency, he is able to achieve without national emergency. So, he may not be imposing any national emergency unnecessarily, because it goes to the Rajya Sabha, and Rajya Sabha getting the approval of the two-third majority which has been made by the, the 44th Amendment Act makes, the imposition of national emergency difficult or nearly impossible in the given circumstances. And see, so the only way national emergency can be imposed is a real threat and the opposition also cooperate, and opposition should be taken into confidence. In the opposition also says that yes, it is a situation for national emergency. With the support of the opposition, national emergency can be imposed in India. Otherwise, I don't think we will be able to impose national emergency that easily. So that is the situation as far as the national emergency, whether it can be imposed. Yes, it can be imposed theoretically. 44th Amendment Act made it very difficult, but the imposition of national emergency can be done in genuine situation with the support of the opposition parties, because of the peculiar number of MPs in Rajya Sabha, because Rajya Sabha should approve it separately with two-third majority. So it is not that easy to circumvent Rajya Sabha in the given circumstances. Okay, so that's about Article 352, its amendment through 44th Amendment Act, and the chances of misusing Article 352 these days. So, you can use this idea while writing your answer. If there is a question, do you think there is a possibility of misuse of 352 these days? I gave you the answer. Okay. So, that is about 352 and article 44.